Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm about to start this Eurographics puzzle. It's 500 pieces. Eurographics very kindly sent me 4 puzzles for review on my channel, and I decided to start with the 500 piece puzzle. It's bright, it's vivid, it's gorgeous. It reminds me of my mom, and I just can't wait to dive into it. I do kind of have a strategy that I'm going to try differently than the strategy that I ordinarily use. Ordinarily, I do the border first, but I've just been watching the World's Jigsaw Puzzle Competition. I just finished watching the individual finals. So I'm going to try to do blocks of color. And as I do the blocks of color, then I'll attach the appropriate edge to them. So let's see if that goes well, and hopefully it does. I'll be turning this on time lapse now. Okay, I've done my first Eurographic puzzle for a couple of years. I will pull out my other Eurographic puzzles in just a moment and show them to you. But one more time, this is the Quilt Workshop, a 500 piece puzzle from Eurographics. Thank you so much, Eurographics, for sending me this puzzle. As I mentioned, I'm going to show the other ones that I have in a moment, but let's talk about the quality of this puzzle. First of all, before I talk about the quality, I want to say this. When I started this puzzle, it was right after I watched the 5-day event on YouTube, which meant very little, if any, jigsaw puzzling getting done. So when I watched that event, I was getting all of these fabulous tips that these speed puzzlers use. Again, the event was the World Jigsaw Puzzle Confederation, WJPC competition. So it was a WJBC competition, and maybe I'll flash that on the screen for you somewhere. So watching that competition and listening to all those amazing interviews and that wonderful commentary, I said I was going to approach this 500 piece puzzle differently than I tried to approach some of my other some of the other puzzles that I do, which is basically to do the border first. I was going to try to work on different parts of the image, in this case, various quilts, to see if I could do that and not focus so much on getting the border done. It was a little mishmash of that, because I couldn't even guess how many quilts are in this image, because right here you have some bolts, and there's probably 20 bolts here and here, so that's 40 bolts there. Then you have some smaller bolts there, and then you have the actual quilt. So there's dozens and dozens of quilts, and so because there's so many, you have different patterns. Yeah, you have a little bit of block of pattern here, but you have all this vivid these vivid patterns in these quilts here. So I kind of just took it step by step. First, I used my trays, and this particular puzzle table has 6 trays, 4 this size and 2 this size. So I did try turning over my pieces into the trays, but these pieces are huge. So let's just pick a piece and talk about the piece. Because this is a 500 piece puzzle, and we're going to, let's fix this. We're going to go back to the box for a moment before we look at the piece I just took out. It should tell us that it does. The actual piece size is right here on the box. So you know it's going to be oversized because it's a 500 piece puzzle. Another way you know it is because of the measurements, which are 19¼ inch by 26 and 5/8 of an inch. And that's almost, if not almost exactly the size of a 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. But back to the Eurographics pieces themselves. Now, I did buy this little contraption. I've seen it used in other places. So we're going to close this, reset it to 0. So you make sure that the dial is at 0, which it's not set. So I'm going to hit 0. So it's 0.00. So if I open it, I put the piece in it, it tells me that the piece is 1.7 millimeters thick. Now, I've had much thicker pieces in this, say for example with the Machezo puzzle I just did, or a Ravensburger, but it's about the quality of thickness of a White Mountain piece puzzle. So the pieces were easy to manage as far as how they felt in my hand, but because of the image having so many various designs, it was a little hard to manage this puzzle with all the pieces turned up either in trays or on the table itself, because I just kept trying to match patterns. But one thing about those of us who do jigsaw puzzles can say, and I'm sure this is a proven fact, that our brains have, we memorize things. So it didn't take long for me to know that I'm looking for 2 or 3 shades of blue. Well, basically 2 shades of blue and a pink and a purple here. I'm looking for pops of yellow over here. I'm looking for these green bolts over there. I'm looking for the white trim on this door and window right here. So at first glance, all you're seeing is all these pieces, but then eventually your eyes start to pick this up and pick that up and pick up these colors. And it made this puzzle come together really, really nicely. I'm very pleased with it. I am utterly, utterly pleased. I have no complaints. Now, I've been using the Puzzle Tracker app, and it has 3 categories: satisfaction, difficulty, and overall experience. My satisfaction is definitely a 4 out of 5. Difficulty, I'll say a 3 out of 5 because of how busy it is. And overall impression, I'll give it a 5 out of 5. I'm quite pleased with it. Very, very pleased with it. So let me shut this video off, and I want to grab my other Eurographic puzzles so you know what I have in my collection so far. Okay, until I did this puzzle, I had only done one Eurographics puzzle, and I believe I did this back in 2022, so I doubt very seriously that the video is on this channel. This, as you can see, is Mediterranean Windows. It looks like it's part of a series, Colors of the World. And so if we look at the back of the box, we see these might be part of a series. I'm not quite sure, because I never bought any more Eurographics puzzles for the most part for 2 to 3 years. Well, about a year and a half. But I got this window because I like any type of collage or pattern type of puzzle. That's one of the types of puzzles I like. And I thought, these are small individual puzzles with 1,000 pieces and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 4, 6, 7, 28, So 7 times 4 is 28. So say 35 pieces per window. So you're just looking for those pops of colors. I love this one, my first experience, and I was very happy with it. The other Eurographics puzzle that I had in my collection is this lighthouses, vintage lighthouses. It's called Lighthouses Vintage Posters. And I got this puzzle because I love lighthouse puzzles. I like puzzles with lighthouses in them. And one of my friends told me, or could have been a viewer, told me about this Eurographics puzzle. So I went ahead and got it, and I'm really glad that I did. So I'm excited to do that. As you can see, it's still in its shrink wrap. And that is the Vintage Posters Lighthouses. Now, as mentioned, Eurographics sent me this puzzle, but they also sent me 3 1,000-piece puzzles. And they're right here, and I've shown them on this channel already, but in case you haven't seen that video, I'm showing you them now. This one here is called Ocean Cottage. Again, it's a 1,000-piece puzzle, and the size, basically, if I'm not mistaken, will be pretty much the same size as the puzzle that I have laid out on the table. Yes, exactly. This 1,000-piece puzzle would be exactly this size and dimension of the puzzle beneath it. Now, just a heads up. Give me a moment. In the comment section, when I showed these puzzles, somebody said that this looked like it could have been part of the My Haven series by Ravensburger. So this beautiful puzzle, which is probably going to be my next puzzle, is quite similar to this Ravensburger puzzle. And again, it's their number 7 puzzle in their My Haven series called The Beach Hut. And there's a lot of similarities, but there are some differences. Not sure which came out first, but I'll do them back to back and I'll compare them once they're done. But I had this one that I received from Eurographics, and then I went immediately and purchased this one off of Amazon. So again, a gifted puzzle for review for this channel is Ocean Cottage. Eurographics also sent me this vintage alien posters. Now, it's still new, but I had trouble scanning the QR code, the ISBN, into my puzzle app. So I had to kind of remove the plastic a little bit so that the code reader would read that. So this is vintage alien posters, and this very well may be my next puzzle. I may do this before I do the 2 similar puzzles. I don't know. All I know is I cannot wait to do this. I'm not one that's, truly believing in aliens. I didn't watch a lot of creepy stuff on TV when I was growing up. But this reminds me of a lot of things that I do remember from growing up. And therefore, I cannot want to do it. 2 movies that I loved, which obviously aren't represented here because this is vintage alien posters. The only 2 movies I can recall are E.T. and the other one just skipped my mind. Richard Dreyfuss was in the second one. It slipped my mind. But this reminds me of the Twilight Zone and stuff like that. Area 51, Zone 51 in this case. So this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the last Eurographics puzzle that I was sent is this beautiful painting. It's a fine art. Let's get rid of this for the sake of the shadow. It says Fine Art Giovanni Paolo Panini. And it is in Italy, and it is a very detailed image that I'm sure takes place in the location in Italy. And once I do this puzzle, I will say more about it, because it does say here, Gallery of Views of Ancient Rome. And so this is going to be challenging. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to get to this one, because at the very least I'd like to do the other ones that I just mentioned, but this one looks like it's going to be difficult. But then if you know me and if you watch my channel and you pay attention to me on Facebook and Instagram, what do I always say? I love a challenge. I definitely love a challenge. So that's it for my review of this Eurographics puzzle called the Quilt Workshop, as well as the limited library I have of Eurographics puzzles so far in my collection. This isn't going to be where it ends, by no means, because there are other puzzles in their catalog, on their website, and in their Amazon store that appeal to me. And I know that my library will grow. I'm just looking up there where I keep these. Okay, just wanted to make sure I don't have any hiding up there. This is indeed it. So we're going to end the video here. And I want to thank Eurographics, but I also want to thank you for watching. And I'm going to ask you 3 things. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Please hit the like button. And please hit all notifications, because my videos are not getting out there. My view count is low because the YouTube algorithm is ignoring me, and that's on me. That's not on YouTube. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you with my next video.